You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.
Back from.
We're back. We're back.
We're chit-chatting.
We're chit-chatting. What's going on? Matter of fact, you started talking about this cooking school and all that. I'd like to learn more about you.
Yeah. Well, that was a cooking school that was held at the Robert Mondavi Winery in Napa Valley, and I learned about it. And I had always had a pretty fond interest in cooking, and I was one of those people, whenever someone was throwing a party, friends, they'd ask me to do the hors d'oeuvres or something like that, or the desserts or something. So and my mother was an extremely good cook, and she was always good about letting me kind of hang out in the kitchen and everything. So I had a fundamentally basic good knowledge of cooking, but I sort of evolved into that from a couple of other things. So after I went to a junior college and I became a certified dental assistant. So that's what I was doing. And then I went to a lunch at a girlfriend's house one time, and there was this gal that I started talking to, and she seemed awfully nice and everything. And then I came to find out after talking to her for quite a while that she was working at the San Francisco Playboy Club, and it sort of startled me that this girl who seemed totally normal was working as a bunny. And it kind of got my brain thinking in those terms. Of course, I was still pretty young then. And I thought, well, gosh, if she could be a bunny, maybe I could too. So I left dental assisting and got a job with Playboy working as a bunny. And here's the thing about that. They really put you through a lot of training before you ever go out on the floor. And
so you're a waitress with a bunny outfit.
Yes, and they actually train you to be a bartender as well. Even though you don't work as a bartender, you have to know exactly how the drinks are made and that sort of thing, because back in the 60s when I was working there, they didn't pre-pour any drinks.
Where was this at?
I initially worked in Kansas City and then a little bit in Chicago as well. And so I kind of learned the bartending skills along with that, and it kind of got me interested in kind of the whole industry, the food and beverage industry and that sort of thing. So that
so bartending and cooking.
So
what's the next step?
Yeah, I had kind of a
restaurant,
a little formal introduction into the bartending and an informal thing in cooking. But when I eventually left that job, I worked for Playboy for a couple of years, and then I came home, and within about 6 months I got married. So I was married for about 5 years, went back to dental assisting, and then when I was not married anymore, I went back to dental assisting again, and actually one of the dentists I was working for encouraged me to start a catering business because I was always cooking for somebody. And so with a little encouragement, it was a little scary, the very first business of my own and everything, I opened up a catering service in Danville, and I had been operating that for about 5 years when I learned about the cooking school up in Napa Valley. And my parents at that time were very supportive of everything, and so they helped me make that transition and get through that school with Simone Beck. And after that, I continued on with the catering service some, but I was doing private catering for the Mondavi family, for Robert Mondavi and Margaret Beaver.
Wow.
And I really learned a lot from them as well as the cooking school.
So this background all led to the Plymouth Hotel.
Well, that background made me comfortable about buying a hotel because I had the background in catering, I had some background in the liquor business from Playboy, and it all kind of seemed to blend in. And then in between, I don't have to go through the whole thing of the path of how it, but I ended up working as a regional sales manager for a company called Pacific Northwest Imports. And what they imported was the Bertoni X19 from Italy. Well, this was part of my sales stuff. And so
all of this stuff,
well, because of
sales, cooking.
Because of that job, I ended up going to Italy a lot.
Ooh.
And I was spending a lot of time back and forth to Italy, and I became more familiarized with their customs and the food they serve over there and everything, and I just love it. And my mother was Italian as well. So when I got into this business in the Plymouth Hotel, I just remembered all of the wonderful Italian dishes and everything that I was eating over there, and that's why I'm leading up to the big thing here. That's why my paninis are very authentic.
Ooh,
a lot
okay,
of people
okay.
that serve paninis.
You had that in the front of the building, authentic?
Authentic. No, I talk to people about that. But a lot of times when you go to places and you order a panini sandwich, it's more like a kind of an American-style grilled cheese sandwich or something like that, with maybe some meat in it. But mine are very authentic. It's like when you walk around downtown Rome or something like that, and you stop at these places, they're kind of right on the sidewalk. There's no place to go in and sit down, and you order your panini, and you pick out which bread and which cheese you want. They cut open this approximate 14-inch baguette, put it in there, and then they have very large grills.
Yeah.
Turn around, they put it on the grill
You're
for a
making
few
me hungry.
minutes. Yeah, and it's just to warm it up a little bit. It's not like a grilled sandwich where the cheese is actually melting out of the bread. Anyway, and so that's how I fix them. And I couldn't find any bakery around here to help me with the bread. So the
you
first
make your
2 or 3
own,
months,
yeah.
I wasn't happy with the bread, and I thought, I've got to make it myself. So that's what I do now. I make all the bread for the paninis, and they're very authentic, just like you'd get on the streets of Rome or Milan.
Authentic should be part of the title of the Plymouth Hotel.
The authentic Plymouth Hotel.
Well, authentic paninis. I mean, I can't even say it right, but
I'm not sure everybody actually knows what that means.
now they do.
You know, now that
Now they do.
whoever's listening
There's hundreds of
knows.
people out there watching the What's Going On show, and hopefully they'll all come to the Plymouth Hotel and try this, Absolutely.
Yeah,
And with your place, they can bring their kids.
they can.
It's a bar, but not really a bar. It's a restaurant.
They're well-behaved kids.
There's more to it.
We only want well-behaved children.
Okay. Yeah. That lets me out. I can't go there. Can I? Now, the small amount of time that I've been there in the capacity of Traveling Tunes, I've enjoyed entertaining the people that come to your place, because it's an age group that I love singing to. So what you've created is an environment for, I don't know, I can't say older people, but over, people that like good food.
You're going to insult the ones that are younger that come in.
Yeah, I know. Well, the young kids come too. They come later on, but we have fun all day long. The thing
Yes,
about it
we do.
is you have an all day long clientele.
Yeah.
I mean, the ones that you and I see at 11 o'clock at night maybe don't want to come there at 6 or 7. It's a different crowd.
Right.
It's interesting that your restaurant changes crowd in the evening. Well, it's been so much fun for me.
And since you show up early and stay late, you get to see the
I
transition.
get to
every
change,
week.
yeah.
Well, and then remember last October during the first weekend in October when they do the festival there, and of course the wineries have all kinds of things going on, and it brings a ton of people into the area there.
I've noticed
And
a lot of
I
people
had
coming
you-
in with bottles of wine.
Yeah, we had you outside in the
Yeah.
courtyard
Yeah.
during the daytime
Yeah,
doing the
yeah.
karaoke, which turned out to be kind of a fun and wonderful thing. Yeah, and occasionally I bring in a live band, but the karaoke that you do there seems to work incredibly well.
Well, I think a family business like your restaurant, and you have all kinds of people wanting to get involved, music seems to be that common denominator where people that want to get up on the stage and sing, your restaurant, they can do that, and no one's going to be poking fun at them or whatever, because they're doing it. Because it's a family environment, and if you want to come and sing, you can come and sing it. And your restaurant kind of leans in that direction, Bring your friends, bring your kids, and we'll have some good time, and we'll have something good to eat. That makes me happy.
It does. It makes a lot of people happy.
I love to see that patio back there full of people. and their
Yeah,
kids, you know?
and actually, I have a barbecue down there. We've done a little bit with that. We haven't utilized that as much as we could, other than for a few private parties that I'll have
Yeah.
down there. Which, by the way, private parties can reserve the backyard and have their own private thing.
What's your phone number for private parties? What's your phone number? What do people call?
Well,
your number they can
the
call?
phone number at the Plymouth Hotel is 209-245-4544.
Okay.
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 And I am planning on bringing in a much larger barbecue for this spring and summer, and I'm planning on doing maybe like Friday night steak barbecues, because we don't do things like grilled steaks at this point. So I thought that would be a nice addition.
Mm-hmm.
And then the little parlor that we have, which is basically for the hotel guests, I serve them wine and cheese in the afternoon when they're checking in. But that little parlor can also be used for small meetings and that sort of thing.
I hate to throw you a curve, but I saw a pizza oven in there.
Oh, yeah. It's decorative.
It's decorative.
Yes.
You got plans of some? You'd mentioned something about some gentleman that you had talked to about maybe coming in there and
Possibly. That's
Possibly.
kind of like...
working on it.
Yeah, that's not anything I've got planned or that's set
Well, with
yet,
the
but-
restaurant, there's always something going on. There's always something in the back that you're thinking about doing, and because things grow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you
Yeah,
know,
and the area changes and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
sort of thing, so you kind
Yeah.
of make your changes according to
Yeah.
what's going on each year, or what you hear. Customers will tell you, too, what they want.
Exactly.
And so if you hear it often enough, you start thinking, well, maybe I should do that.
So maybe we can get a campaign going. People can start calling you up and say, "Hey,
No, Jack.
I'll start a rumor. Can we
don't-
start a rumor?"
Please don't call
Yeah.
and say, give me your
Can I get a
ideas.
pizza? Yeah. But I mean, your Italian panini. What? We'll be right back.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.